Welcome back. All by myself today, so I thought it'd be fitting to talk about journaling and how it's helped me. So I'd say probably like around April of like 2019, I got a small little journal, actually like one of these, and um, I would just write things down that I didn't go in it with having any intention of writing things down every day. I'd just write down whatever I feel, and I just started doing things like I'd write things that I enjoy, or things that happened, or things that I want, or just any ideas or advice that I have for myself. And it got to the point where I just really enjoyed journaling, and it was very therapeutic, I guess you could say. And then it was something that I noticed I really started growing when I was journaling a lot, and I spent less time going on my phone and going outdoors instead, and just like going on walks and like stuff like that. There's something to me about writing something in a journal as opposed to writing it on your phone that just like feels so much better. And I really like that. And I think that's why I just started journaling so much. I wouldn't have any set time where I just need to journal. I wouldn't force it. I wouldn't tell myself I need to write something down for each day. I would just write whatever I want. And honestly, I think that's probably the best way to do it. And well, I mean, I guess it is personal preference, but that's what I like a lot, and that's what I enjoy. And I really have figured out a lot about myself and learned a lot just from writing. And it's something that's very introspective and very reflect. You can reflect, and it makes it easy to see things with more clarity or start understanding things better. And another thing that I notice is that writing things down also it helps stick in your mind. So like I would write down a certain goal that I have for myself, or I'd write down some sort of idea that I have. And I noticed that those sort of things they grow in your mind, and you start thinking about them more, and you start working out more details, and it becomes more clear. And it's sort of, I guess you'd call it manifesting, but like I just think of it as like something that I just enjoy doing. And yeah, it's just like it's sick to me going on a journal instead of like using my phone and writing things down. People who will ask me like I want to start journaling, or like how, like what do you even write down? I would just write down things that I enjoy, like music that I like at the time, or like making lists of things, or writing down things that I experience, giving advice to myself. And that's something that I have just sort of figured out over time, because when I got a journal, I didn't really have an idea of being like, oh, I need to write this down, or I need to write these things down every day. And I think it's just about figuring out what you like, and like finding what feels like the best for you for like getting the most out of it, I guess, because like it's something that is enjoyable for me, and I also find that it helps me a lot. And that's always the best, when you can find the things that you enjoy and also have a good effect for you. And journaling is definitely one of them for me. So that's why I would recommend it to anybody. When I write my journal, I try to always end positively. And like if I'll be writing something about something I experienced, or something that I have been trying to figure out, I always try to end with positive in mind. So like let's say something went wrong, and I would try to make sure that I say how I like know that I can get through it. Something that I've really been feeling recently is like martial arts for whatever reason. But yeah, that's something that I did taekwondo when I was like in grade school, but I didn't do anything after that. And recently I've had an interest for it again. And I think I've just seen so many people who have said good things about how martial arts can be therapeutic, and it's sort of like, I guess, like an art form almost. But it's just really interesting to me. And even just trying to like shadow box, or like just throw kicks, like it just, you feel some sort of energy and some sort of positive energy, and it's really interesting. And um oh, and I think I might have been thinking a bit about that because I also watched Fight Club recently. shout out to Paige Blair for telling me to watch that. But yeah, I mean, fight just that was a really interesting movie, and I really didn't know what to expect with it, but it's really interesting how they talk about how consumerism and capitalism have sort of had an effect on our society, and it's just very interesting to me how it still stands up in today's time, and it's just as relevant. And it's a really interesting movie that I would definitely recommend. But yeah, not to say too much about the plot line or whatever, but I also wanted to talk about gratefulness and just being grateful for the things in your life, the positive things, instead of thinking so much about what could be better. And one of the quotes that I think of when I think of that idea is like, it's not about having what you want, it's about wanting what you have. To me, gratefulness, I think, is realizing that things can always be worse. And what I tell myself when I feel like things aren't the best is that it could be worse. I could not have food. I could not have water. I could not be sleeping in a bed. And it just gives perspective. And that's what I think is the biggest thing, is having perspective. And going through negative things, going through things where you feel like you're at the bottom and feel like things can't get any worse. That is what builds perspective, and that's what shows you that you shouldn't be worrying so much about where you are, and understanding that there's a lot of positive things. And to me, it's a very just healthy way of seeing things and living life, and that's what I try to always tell myself, is that it could always be worse. And yeah, it's just about building the perspective, and a lot of times you can only get that perspective from having very bad experiences, and you just see life differently. That's why I feel grateful for the bad things that I've gone through, because I see how they've given me perspective, and how they've helped me become a better person, or become more empathetic, or whatever it is. So but yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this pod. It was pretty short. I still gotta get used to talking by myself, and just I feel like talking for a prolonged period of time, because I've talked about this with my friends. It's like I can get a great conversation going, and it's just difficult sometimes when you have the recording on, and it's just a whole different way of talking, and it's just really interesting trying to like navigate regular conversation into recording. And like that's what I've been trying to aim for, like with like the pods that we've been doing. Something I feel like I've been trying to deal with, well, not really deal with, but like something that I've been trying to work out is like making the vision that I have like into actually what I'm putting out, because I feel like I'm still not fully there with like how I see it, and portraying that with like even how I speak on like the podcasts, or the pictures that I post, or just the whole like image itself. But I've just realized like it'll get better over time, and that's something that I would want to share, just because anyone who's starting, trying to do something, they have a hustle that they want to do, they have a business that they want to start, it's just going to get better over time. And if you don't worry about the numbers, don't worry about the money, and just make for yourself, make things that you enjoy, make what you want, then there's no reason to be worried about the numbers. And if you're focused on making what you like, then you're going to be the most successful in the end anyway. So yeah, it's just a matter of sticking with it, and if you stick with it, you're gonna get there. Like that's how I think about it. Like it's not exactly where I want right now, but I'm not giving up, and it's going to get there, and that's just how I see it. Over time, these things get worked out, and I just try and remember what my real purpose is with this, and that's just trying to help people get better, and just make this something that's a lot bigger than just me, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's just as simple as that. I just have a big vision for this, and that's what I'm going to follow through on. And it's just been great seeing everyone who supports it so far and enjoys it. So yeah, I appreciate everybody for listening to this, and the hats are available on gcprocess.org. We just got a website finally. I think I'm going to start doing blog posts on there. I've been doing story posts on Instagram, and I think I'm going to start doing more full-length things on a blog on gcprocess.org. And The hats you can cop. The hoodies are coming right after that. I'm really excited about that. Thank you everyone who's been supporting so far. And yeah, I appreciate it for listening. All right. Thank you.